For the second time around, I have the privilege of introducing Paul A. Krogstad.
For the second time?
Paul A. Krogstad was born on September 25, 1956 at Tripler Army Hospital in Honolulu, Hawaii. The second of two boys born to Marley and Paul Krogstad, who was serving in the U.S. Navy Construction Battalion CDs. When Dad left the Navy a year later, the family moved here to the South Bay, eventually settling in Torrance, where daughter Chris joined her brothers Michael and Paul in 1963.
They pronounce my name right.
Paul attended St. Margaret Mary Catholic School in Lomita, where he met his longtime friend Bob Demian. Another future Cavalier, fascinated with AM radio, he obtained an operator's license as a preteen and used it happily.
I can't see.
Except for the moment the antenna he had built hit a power line and exploded, causing a power outage locally and setting off small fires in his backyard. Obviously precocious, he started his Serra experience a little earlier than most, as one of 12 or so students who actually began their honor studies in June of 1970. 3 months prior to the beginning of the regular school year, Paul ran track at Serra, excelled in the classroom, and graduated. He says with confidence in my ability to face a variety of challenges, the classwork and extracurricular activities, reinforcing the spirit of tenacity that my working class parents had taught me. At the University of California, Los Angeles, he received a BS in cybernetics cum laude in 1978 and his MS in bioengineering, biocybernetics, and engineering in 1980. Another 4 years at Tulane University School of Medicine in New Orleans, Louisiana, culminated with his MD in 1984. Since completing his residency in 1987, Paul has been a flight surgeon for Airlift Northwest in Seattle, and a multi-published researcher and associate professor at UCLA, my fault, where he is currently a full professor in the departments of pediatrics and medical pharmacology at the David Geffen School of Medicine. Paul is married to Nan Hurd, MD. They met in 1981 as public students at Tulane and married in 1985 in LA Mesa, California, Nan's hometown. At the time, he was an intern in pediatrics and Nan was in her 4th year of medical school. With adult sons Tommy and Joel rewarding medical careers, Paul and Nan have lived and thrived and contributed to the Los Angeles, UCLA, and Junipero Serra communities for more than 30 years. Thank you.
Here we go. Now let's get somebody who can speak English. Totally left out so much of his career. Yeah. Have you heard of me before? Great.
Yep, she's very good. Using our class.
Cool.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is James Berry, and I'm in class of 1974, along with Paul Krogstad, Ryan Cooper, and several others. I met Paul in June of 1970. We were 12 of us, I believe it was. They were starting an honors program. It was the first year that they had declared Latin a dead language, and it was on our curriculum. For the next 4 years, I took almost all of my classes, except with the exception maybe of the gym class with Paul, and we became good friends. I remember I saw him the first time I saw him. My first thought was, he looks like Dennis the Menace. He had the comb over and the cowlick, and I'm like, who is this kid? And I'm all of 13 myself, so I think I know what's going on. We spent 4 years together. We got into some trouble, and we learned a lot of things. And we learned how to study and how to learn and how to look beyond ourselves and look to see what the world had to offer. I left the state of California, and Paul went to UCLA, and we didn't see each other again for almost 30 years. I'd come back to California, and I was working for the state, and Paul was being a physician and a pediatric physician at UCLA, and I was working for the state, and I was doing what, well, I won't really say what I was doing, but I was doing something in the medical field, and he had to have permission from me to do what he wanted to do. Well, he had to have permission from my office to do what he wanted to do. And apparently, my staff told him no. And he called and wanted to speak to a supervisor. And when they told me the name of the person and gave me his phone number, I said, I know this guy. I went to high school with this guy. And I turned up and I called him, and it was like we had never not seen each other. It had been almost 30 years. And we stayed in touch. I found out that he had done all of these things, and he had achieved all these things, and he had become a successful physician, a successful pediatrician. It's a special kind of doctor. When you see children in pain, and you are the one that has to take care of them, and it can help relieve that pain. And he learned how to do those kind of things because he learned how to learn here at Serra High School, Junipero Serra High School. Paul's a good guy. I nominated him for this award, and I believe he deserves it as much as anyone, more than some. But I'm glad to be the one that nominated him. All hail.
Do this silently.
Keep it short, doctor. Keep it short.
No, I'll listen to him. Of course, he's a Krogstad, so we might have a problem because we're Krogstads.
Just tell him to hopefully do the A to Z's of brain surgery.
I'm honored to be here this afternoon, especially being among classmates and with the nice comments from Dr. James Berryman. And you know, one could go on and on, but I won't. I'll simply say that what I realize now in retrospect is how much Serra meant for me in terms of, you know, acquiring the ability to go forward. My parents did teach all of their children to be tenacious, and you know, life makes it necessary for you to approach it in that fashion. You know, to expect that there are going to be bumps in the road. And I can just say that it hasn't been always easy. On the other hand, what a great thing it is to have a life that is spent living with other people and talking about the things that are important to them. Never thought I'd become a pediatrician, and I discovered how much I enjoy being around children too. And you know, that shaped a lot. That shaped how I've worked through the now 30-something years of being a pediatric specialist. But the key thing here is not about where we've come, but where we're going, and hoping to help others achieve their dreams and goals. That for me, this is where it started, where, you know, quit being a kid and became a young man, and there are those students around us to remind us that they're just getting off to a good start, and we should, I think, look for a better world for them, pushing back against things in a way we have left unaddressed. Justice, equity, diversity, inclusion, the things that were obvious around us when we were students, we should press for those things to be a part of the broader society around us. So I'm so honored to be around so many successful people here, and the greatest measure of success, I think, is seeing people that are accompanied by the friends who love them and that they love, and the families that are here, and just, you know, having people rejoice in the community of others. So with that in mind, that's how I remember Serra now, And I will close by just saying all hail.